Now, in this video, we will be going over the problem solving that's on page 236. So we will be renaming mixed numbers in problem solving. So for number 20, the question reads, how much farther will they have to hike if they choose Lake Trail instead of Woodland Trail? So for this particular problem, they gave me a chart. So I have Lake Trail, which is 4 1/3, and I have Woodland Trail, which is 2 5/6. So if I want to figure out how much farther, that means that I will have to subtract. Okay, so we'll look at our calculations here for number 20. Let's zoom out so you can see the factor chart as well, since we had to use our factor chart. Okay, so I have 4 1/3 minus 2 5/6. Let's let that zoom in a little bit and focus. Okay, so I have different denominators, therefore I have to find a common denominator. My common denominator is 6. I'll rewrite my problem, so I have 4 2/6 minus 2 5/6. If I only have 2/6, I can't take away 5/6. So I'll borrow 1 whole from the 4. That leaves me with 3. The best whole fraction to add to 2/6 is 6/6, giving me 8/6. So 8/6 minus 5/6 gives me 3/6. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 and 6 have a common factor. So I'll come over here. 3 is an odd number, so I'll use factors of 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1 times 3, 3 times 1. No factors for 5, no factors for 7, no factors for 9. 6 is an even number, so I'll do 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I can do 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and 6 times 1. So the greatest common factor, the greatest factor that's in both the 3 chart and the 6 chart is 3. That means I can divide 3 by 3. It gives me 1. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. So my final answer should be 1 1/2. Now let's take a look at number 23. Let's take a look at number 23. So for number 23, the problem reads, or the question reads, how much farther is Ian's mother round trip than his father's? So Ian's mother drives 8.5 miles to work each day. That means she's also going to have to drive 8.5 miles to get back home. His father drives 9.5 miles round trip. That means that when he goes to work and then back home, he only goes 9.5 miles. So for mom's trip, mom has to do her trip twice. So we'll do 8.5 or 8 1/5 plus 8 1/5. That gives me 16 2/5. This is mom going to work. This is mom coming back home from work. Dad goes back and forth, and it only takes him 9.5 miles. So to figure out how much farther, we'll subtract. So we'll take mom's total of 16 2/5 minus dad's 9 1/2. We'll find our common denominator, which in this case is 10. So I have 16 4/10 minus 9 5/10. If I only have 4/10, I can't take away 5/10. So I have to borrow 1 whole from the 16. It becomes a 15. The best whole fraction to add to 4/10 is 10/10. So that becomes 14/10. Now I can subtract. 14/10 minus 5/10 gives me 9/10. And 15 minus 9 gives me 6. Please complete the rest of the problems. Have a good night.